Once upon a time, in a land far away, a terrible drought plagued the earth for many, many months. The sky, once a brilliant blue canvas for fluffy white clouds, remained stubbornly clear. Not a single precious drop of rain fell to bless the parched ground. The land grew dry and cracked, like an ancient forgotten map. The once lush green grass and towering trees withered under the relentless sun, their leaves turning a sad, brittle brown. The ponds and lakes, which used to shimmer with life, all dried up, leaving behind nothing but dusty hollows. The world had turned into a vast, silent desert. For every creature, big and small, life became a desperate struggle. The threat of thirst was a constant shadow, a grim reaper looming over them. Survival was the only thought on anyone's mind. Perched high on a barren, lifeless branch, a crow sat panting in the heat. Its feathers were dull, and its throat was as dry as the dust devils that danced across the empty fields. It was so thirsty, its whole body ached for just a sip of water, but it had no idea where to find any. The world seemed to have run dry. Just as the crow was about to give in to despair, its sharp eyes caught a glimpse of something on the ground below. It was a water jar, standing alone near an old abandoned cottage. Hope surged through the crow's weary body. With a renewed sense of purpose, it flapped its wings and flew down, landing beside the jar. Eagerly, it tried to dip its long black beak into the jar to drink the life-saving water it knew must be inside. But its heart sank. The jar's opening was too narrow, and its neck was too tall. The water level was frustratingly low, far beyond the reach of its beak. The crow was heartbroken. It pushed and pecked, trying to tip the heavy jar over, but it was no use. The jar wouldn't budge. It stretched its neck as far as it could, straining until its muscles screamed, but still it couldn't touch the water. No matter how hard it tried, it couldn't get a single drop. It seemed that water was so close, yet so impossibly far away. The crow hopped around the jar, its mind racing. Was this it? Was it going to perish right here, next to the very thing that could save it? Feeling utterly defeated, the crow slumped to the ground, its head hung low. The sun beat down mercilessly, and its thirst was now a burning fire in its throat. As it sat there, lost in despair, its gaze fell upon a small, smooth pebble lying in the dust. And then another, and another. Suddenly, like a flash of lightning in a dark sky, a brilliant idea sparked in its clever mind. The pebbles. It could use the pebbles. The crow realized that if it dropped enough pebbles into the jar, the stones would displace the water, causing the water level to rise. It was a simple principle, but in that moment, it was a stroke of genius. The more pebbles it dropped in, the higher the water would climb, until finally it would reach the top of the jar, where the crow could easily drink it. A new wave of determination washed over the exhausted bird. It wasn't over yet. Without a moment's hesitation, the crow set to work. It ignored the scorching sun and the burning ground beneath its feet. Its mission was clear. It hopped around, its sharp eyes scanning the dusty earth for pebbles. It picked them up one by one with its beak, a small but significant effort each time. It flew back and forth from the ground to the top of the jar, a tiny, determined black shape against the vast empty landscape. The work was tiring. Its beak grew sore and its wings felt heavy, but the thought of the cool, refreshing water kept it going. After what felt like an eternity, the crow had gathered a respectable pile of pebbles next to the jar. Now came the crucial part. With careful precision, it began to drop them into the jar, one by one, plink, plank, plink. Each pebble made a small, satisfying sound as it hit the water below. With every pebble that went in, the crow peered eagerly into the jar, and sure enough, the water level was rising. It was slow, almost imperceptible at first, but it was definitely rising. Encouraged by this small success, the crow worked with even greater fervor. It fetched more and more pebbles, dropping them in with a steady rhythm. Plink, plonk, plonk, plonk. The pile of pebbles inside the jar grew, and the water level crept higher and higher. It rose past the halfway mark, then 3/4 of the way. The crow could see the surface of the water shimmering, getting closer and closer to the rim. Its heart pounded with anticipation. It was almost there. Finally, with one last triumphant effort, the crow picked up the very last pebble it had gathered. It flew to the rim of the jar, held the pebble over the opening for a brief second, and let it go. Plink. The pebble slipped into the water, and with that final push, the water level reached the very top, spilling slightly over the edge. It had worked. The crow's clever plan had succeeded. Overjoyed, the crow dipped its beak into the cool, clear water. It drank and drank, gulping down the life-giving liquid until its thirst was completely quenched. The water was the most delicious thing it had ever tasted. It felt life and strength flowing back into its weary body. The clever crow had not only saved its own life, but had also shown that with a little bit of thinking and a lot of persistence, even the most difficult problems can be solved. And so, the story of the clever crow who used its brain to overcome a great challenge was passed down, a timeless reminder that where there's a will, there's a way. Thank you so much for joining me for this wonderful story. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tales that inspire and entertain. We'll see you in the next one.